Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. The bigger picture, only on Money FM 89.3.
Good morning. Welcome to The Bigger Picture. And we are heading to the Middle East, which is not typically a top investment destination for APAC investors. It is often overlooked, perceived sometimes as too risky. But in today's rapidly shifting geopolitical and economic landscape, the region could be worth a second look. And to help us out today with more insights, we've got Chau. He is the managing partner of ewpartners, an international investment firm specializing in cross-border investments between Asia and the MENA region, Middle East and North Africa. Cliff, good morning. How are you doing today?
Very good. Good morning, Ryan.
Great to have you on because you are pretty much the expert when it comes to all things happening in the Middle East, and you are quite invested in that sense in terms of finding deals to be done and quite optimistic in terms of where things are going. But as we've kind of alluded to, there have been quite a level of perceived risks or concerns around that region. Walk us through the level of risk here we're talking about when it comes to the Middle East. What is the perceived level of risk here?
Ryan, I think that you used the word perceive. I bet a lot of people haven't even traveled to Middle East, but then you hear a lot on the news. So I think it's important to break down where the investment destinations are and vis-a-vis other Middle East countries. Middle East is a broader term with many countries inside. But there's another term called GCC, is Gulf Cooperation Council. In that GCC region, there are 6 countries there. There's Saudi Arabia, there's UAE, Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, and Bahrain. These 6 countries are what we call very much at the right time to look at from an investment perspective. And the reason why, because almost all of these countries are doing something that about their own country, local economy. Different countries have different vision plan. For instance, one of the most famous or well-known plan is Saudi Arabia Vision 2030. Billions and trillions of dollars is trying to build a country and try to diversify from oil industry to non-oil industries.
Okay, that's something we'll get into in a few moments. But let's talk about how it's changed. How would you describe the level of risk in investing in the Middle East, and what's changed in the past few years to change the, I suppose, risk concerns that investors might have?
I think that I was alluding to first, you have to look at individual country. So that take away of made me some misperception of this very dangerous place to go, even for travel. In fact, I encourage your audience book a flight and go to Saudi Arabia. It's actually quite a popular travel destination nowadays. In China, I think there's a lot of tour now organized just surrounding Riyadh, and there's a Red Sea and all that. But back to the investment perspective, speaking of investment and the risk profile, we have to talk about how Saudi Arabia unveiled their Vision 2030. That was the year around 2016. And that is the sort of beginning of this country has 35 million people. It's almost like more than half of the population in the entire GCC region. When this country with so much of oil reserve began to consider how to diversify the country into various industries, from digitalization, manufacturing, industrialization, it created a new set of investment opportunities that were not available to investors 6 years ago. Over the last several years, this plan has been progressing very well. Every year, actually, there are a lot of progress. They have an actual transparent report available to public how Vision 2030 are progressing year by year, and all the KPI measure in different perspectives. So I would say that today is actually we are already seeing a very positive momentum on how the country is building to a diversified economy. And for global investor, this is now kind of the time to look at this kind of region. It's almost like the starting phase is already over. Now it's going into a growth phase of the entire economy on country like this.
Now, what's it like when it comes to legislation, market entry, as well as what else you might need to run business? What is it like going into these spaces?
Yeah, generally speaking, the business elite classes in GCC countries are mostly very westernized. People in the elite class, in the business class society, normally, oftentimes, they are educated in the UK, in the US, with good education. My sense is actually doing business there is very similar to many other countries that are tuning into the Western business morals or the legislative systems. It's actually very easy and very transparent.
Talking about logistics, you've actually structured a deal to bring one of your investments into Saudi Arabia.
Right.
What's the prospect at least the value that's on the table when it comes to investing in the Middle East? What can we look forward to in terms of value proposition?
For example, in the past several years, we have done several very remarkable investment. There's one company is in the logistics space called J&T Express. It's actually one of the largest in China as an operator. So this company, we assist them to create a new joint venture in Saudi Arabia. So it's a brand new joint venture created several years ago. Today, they are one of the largest and one of the top two logistic operator in Saudi. We also created the first Saudi cloud computing companies. It's a cloud service for this country. Before that, there was no cloud service. So we started this company called Saudi Cloud. Again, we use one of the Chinese leading operator in the cloud space, and we create a new joint venture partnership with a local telecom company. And this joint venture and this cloud company is also today is one of the largest cloud company in Saudi Arabia. And they also create a lot of employment opportunity for the country as well.
Right, Cliff, you've covered logistics and covered a bit of tech with that cloud partnership. What else is worth looking at when it comes to sector potential?
Also, even to the manufacturing, because many of these countries are looking into how to start their manufacturing capability. They also want to be potentially export country. So I think for the supply chain, to re-export manufacturing, AI,
You're talking about high-end manufacturing.
High-end manufacturing, or light manufacturing, and also service industry like tourism, education, healthcare. All these, I mentioned about 6-7 different sectors. Actually, today is full of opportunities for investors.
Yeah, talking about opportunities and investors, how has been the appetite when you're walking the ground, talking to clients, prospective clients? What is the perception right now? How has it changed? Are they willing to increase their exposure in the Middle East right now?
Part of my daily job is touring around the world to talk to professional investors. And I would say I do come across a continuing shifting to the more positive momentum towards spending time to consider Middle East as a region for investment. Why? Because I think that, as I mentioned, different countries in the different pace of the economic transformation. And I think some of the countries like UAE, like Saudi, are very good also at broadcasting what they've been doing through global conferences. For example, in Riyadh, it's almost like every month there's a global conference in different industry, from logistic to high tech to financial services, tourism. So I think that the entire global community are getting attention of this region now. So I would say that as time goes by, more and more investors now getting to understand and wanted to spend time on looking at these opportunities.
All right, a growing potential to invest in the Middle Eastern region. We've been in conversation with Cliff Chau. He is the managing partner of ewpartners. Cliff, thanks for your time and insights today.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, stay Money FM 89.3.
Before acting on the information on Money FM, please consider if it's suitable for your own investment objectives, financial situation, and risk tolerance. To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.